Hello everyone, this is Glenda and welcome back to my channel, Creative Grandma. Today's crochet tutorial is going to be for these adorable little soap bags. Just a cute little decorative bag. Now it has a drawstring, so you can just untie the drawstring and then you can just open up your bag and you can insert and take out your soap. So if you decide to sell these at craft shows, I would keep them in the paper wrapper for selling them at the craft shows. But you can still smell the aroma of the soap. And then on the back, we have a little loop for hanging on the hook in the shower. Now you can make this loop longer. It's all in what you prefer when you're making your little bag. And then you just tighten that drawstring, tie it back in a bow, and then you can hang it in the shower. Now if you're selling these at craft shows, you can make these in all different colors, and it just adds a nice burst of color to your craft stand when you're selling these soap bags. Now today's video is just going to be for this solid one here. I used a single crochet, chain 2 single crochet. So some people call that a V-stitch, some people call it a shell stitch. So for this video, I'm going to call it the little shell stitch here. And then I'm going to do another video for this one. I did make a striped one where I used a single crochet, double crochet, single crochet to form a nice stripe pattern. So if you wanted a variety of different patterns, that would make a nice look. My soap bar broke here, so that's why that looks a little deformed. Sorry about that. So it just makes a nice accent if you want to add some with the stripes and then some with the color. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need 1 skein of cotton yarn. Now I use Premier Home Cotton. This is 96 yards per skein, 88 meters, 1.94 ounces, 55 grams. This is 85% cotton, 15% polyester, and when you use the cotton blends with that little bit of polyester, it helps keep these colors brighter wash after wash. So that's a nice little plus when you can use the one that's a little bit of a combination of that polyester mixed in. Now this color is a little less in yardage than the regular solid colors because this is one of those splash colors, so a little less yardage in this color. Now this is color number 44-27 Ocean Splash. That's what I'm going to be using today. You're also going to need a bar of soap, whatever bar of soap you prefer. I just chose Ivory. And then you're also going to need a size H8 5mm hook. So grab your yarn, grab your hook, and let's get started. I have my yarn attached to my hook and I just use a double knot. You can use whichever method you prefer to join your yarn. We're going to begin with a chain 8. Yarn over, pull through, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to work a single crochet, a chain 2, and a single crochet into the second chain from hook. So we're going to skip this first chain, insert into the second chain from hook, work a single crochet, yarn over, pull through that chain, yarn over, and pull through 2. That's how you do a single crochet. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2, insert back into that same chain, work a single crochet. Your little shell stitch is made. We worked a single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet all into that same chain. Now we're going to begin the repeat. We're going to skip the next chain, insert into the next chain, work a single crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2, insert back into that same chain and work a single crochet. Again, we made our single crochet, chain 2, single crochet all into that same chain. We're going to do it again. You're going to skip the next chain, insert into the next chain, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same chain, work a single crochet. We're over at the end of the chain. We're going to skip the next chain, insert into the last chain, work a single crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2, insert back into that same last chain, work a single crochet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work around the bottom of our foundation chain. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and this forms our corner to take us around to the bottom of the foundation chain. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work a single crochet, a chain 2, and a single crochet into the base of each shell across. So we're going right back into that first chain right at the base of that last shell stitch we made. Insert your hook right into the base of that shell stitch, which is the first chain going across the bottom. Tighten up that loop on your hook. Work a single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2. You're going to insert back into that same chain right at the base of that previous shell stitch that you made. Work a single crochet. So you can see here is the top shell. You worked one right in the base of that shell above. You're going to skip that next chain. You're going to insert into the chain where you made that shell stitch. You're going right into the base of that shell stitch on the other side. So insert into that chain, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same chain, work a single crochet. You're going to skip the next chain. You're going to insert right at the base of the shell stitch. Insert your hook, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same space, work a single crochet. We're over to the end of the round. You'll see here's a chain, and then this big opening here is where you made that beginning shell stitch on the other side. You're going to insert into that space, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that space, work a single crochet. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2. This forms our corner, and now we're going to join into the top of that first single crochet we made. So you'll look at your work and you'll see here is that first shell, here is that first single crochet. You're going to insert under the top 2 loops of that single crochet and slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop of your hook. So round 1 is finished. So now we're going to go ahead and start round 2. Round 2 is a pretty easy round. You're going to skip this joining single crochet. You're going to insert into that chain 2 space and slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through that chain 2 space, and pull through the loop on your hook. So what we're doing is we're going to be working in each chain 2 space of each shell and in each chain 2 space of each corner of our work. So let's begin. We're going to chain 1. We're going to insert our hook right into that chain 2 space. You're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same space of that chain 2 space and work a single crochet. So what you're doing is you're working right in the center of each shell stitch across. Insert into the center of the next shell stitch. So look for that chain 2 space. If you have to, just use your hook and find where they are. You're skipping 2 single crochet and inserting right into the chain 2 space of that next shell stitch. Work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same chain 2 space, work a single crochet. Insert into the next chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same chain 2 space, work a single crochet. You have 1 shell stitch remaining across your work. You're going to insert into the chain 2 space of that last shell across, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that chain 2 space, work a single crochet. So you're going to have 4 shell stitches across your work. And then we come to the corner chain 2 space. So again, you're working in each chain 2 space around. So we're at our corner, insert into your corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet. And that's all there is to working this pattern. So now go ahead and repeat 1 single crochet, chain 2, and 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space of each of the next 4 shell stitches, and then you're going to end by working a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into that ending corner chain 2 space. So go ahead and repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 2. I'm over at the end of round 2. This is what your work should look like, and it's a little hard to see because I'm using this multicolored splash yarn, but you should have a shell stitch right in the center of each shell stitch around, and 1 shell stitch in each corner chain 2 space. So when you come around, you're ending with that single crochet, chain 2, single crochet right into that corner chain 2 space. So now we're just going to join our round. So you're going to look for that first single crochet, and you're going to insert under the top 2 loops of the first single crochet of this V-stitch. So insert underneath the top 2 loops and slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through the stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. And this is what your work should look like so far. So this is the base of our soap bag. So now we're going to continue, and now all we're going to do is we're going to work 1 shell stitch in the center of each shell stitch around, and this is going to form the sides of our little soap bag. So let's begin round 3. We're going to start in the same manner. We're going to skip that beginning single crochet. You're going to insert into that first chain 2 space and slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through that space, and pull through the loop on your hook. You're going to chain 1. You're going to insert into that chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same chain 2 space, and work a single crochet. So very easy, repetitive pattern. You're going to look for your next shell stitch. You're going right into the center of that shell stitch, so you're going to look for that chain 2 space, insert into the chain 2 space of the next shell stitch, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same chain 2 space, and work a single crochet. I'll show you one more time. Look for your next shell stitch. You're going to look for the chain 2 space, so if you have to, use your hook, find that space, open it up, insert into that next chain 2 space of that next shell, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same space, and work a single crochet. Continue and work 1 single crochet, a chain 2, a single crochet into the chain 2 space of each shell stitch around, and I will meet you at the end of round 3. I'm back. I'm over at the end of round 3. I did not join yet because I wanted to show you what this looks like if you've never made a soap bag before and you've never worked to where the sides start forming. It starts pulling together. So right here you can kind of see how it's curving a little bit. And then when we join, it's really going to pull that together, and then you can see how it's going to start forming that little boat shape to start forming the sides. So I just wanted to come back and show you how to join, especially again if you've never done this before. So now we're going to join, and you're going to come all the way over here to that first shell stitch. So again, you worked your last shell stitch right into that last chain 2 space of that shell stitch, and then you have a single crochet from that last shell stitch. You have a single crochet from that shell stitch in the row below. So you have to look at the top of your work where you did your first shell stitch. We're coming right over, all the way over. You're going to skip all these stitches and you're going to come over to that first single crochet of the first shell stitch that you made in round 3. Insert underneath the top 2 loops of that single crochet, and you're going to slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. And then when you look at your work, you can see how your sides have formed. So this is a really simple pattern once you get the idea of where to put your stitches, and it's so easy because you're going right into those chain 2 spaces in the center of each shell around. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to click back on the video, and you're going to start right at the beginning of round 3 and work round 3 10 more times. And then you should be at the end of round 13. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to repeat round 3 10 more times, and I'll meet you at the end of round 13. I'm over at the end of round 13. I just finished round 13, and this is what your little soap bag should look like. So now we have one more round to go, and it's basically the same, only we're chaining 3 instead of 2 for our shell. So let's go ahead and begin the last round, round 14. You're going to skip your joining single crochet where you joined. You're going to insert into that first chain 2 space of that first shell, and you're going to slip stitch. You're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You're going back into the same chain 2 space and work a single crochet. So let's do it again. You're going to find your next shell stitch, insert into the center chain 2 space of that shell, insert right in the center from front to back, work a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, come back down, insert into that same chain 2 space, work a single crochet. I'll show you one more time. You're going to find your next shell stitch, insert into the center chain 2 space of that shell stitch, work a single crochet, chain 3, insert back into that same chain 2 space and work a single crochet. So go ahead and work your single crochet, chain 3, single crochet into the chain 2 space of each remaining shell stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 14. I'm over at the end of round 14. We're just going to go ahead and join right into the top of that beginning single crochet stitch. So find your first single crochet of that shell. We're going to insert underneath the top 2 loops and slip stitch. We're going to go ahead and fasten off, and I leave a longer length to make it easier for me to weave that end in. I chain 2, 1, 2, pull up my hook, pull that yarn out, grab the end of the yarn, pinch with your fingers and pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So now I'll grab a yarn needle. I forgot to get one, so I'm going to grab that. I'm going to weave my yarn end on the inside of the bag on the wrong side. I'm just going to take it right underneath those stitches and then back through, really secure that good. And then when I come back, we're going to put our hanging strap on, and then we'll make our drawstring. So now I have my bag to the back. This is where I joined back here. So when you finished, you joined, and you're just going to flip your little soap bag over to the back. So now to make our hanging loop, we're going to find the center 2 shell stitches. There's 4 shell stitches going across the back, and then you have the edge of the bag. So what we want to do is go down 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, find those 2 center shells, and we're going to be working into the 2 center stitches of each one of those shells. So I'm going to insert my hook from front to back around the left stitch of that right side shell stitch, right around the post of that single crochet. I'm going to take my color and I'm just going to pull it through, and I'm going to tie a knot right on the front side. So I'm just going to tie it. I'm only going to tie it once, and then I'm going to secure this with a yarn needle on the wrong side of my work. So then what you want to do is take your hook, go down in the inside of your bag, come back out where you join that yarn, take a hold of that yarn, and then just pull it to the back side on the inside of the bag to get it out of your way. And then we'll come in later, secure that with our yarn needle, knot it again on the back side, and then weave it in. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go back down to the same stitch where we joined our yarn. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds below, right into that same stitch, which is the left single crochet of the right center shell stitch. You're just going to yarn over and pull that yarn underneath that stitch and out through. You're going to chain 1. You're going to go back into that same stitch underneath and around the post of that stitch and work a single crochet. You're going to chain 27. 1, 2, 3. Continue until you have 27 chains made, and I'll be back and I'll show you how to finish the hanging loop. I have my chain 27 made. If you want to make your hanging loop longer, then you can go ahead and chain to whatever desired length you want. And then we're going to come back down. So just fold that chain out of your way, and you're going to come back down, and we're going into the next stitch on the left side of the stitch we just started. So it's actually the right single crochet of that left shell. You're going to insert from front to back and back to front around the post of that stitch, and make sure you don't go into the stitches on the front of the bag. Make sure you're only going through the one layer. You're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through and underneath that post of that stitch. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. You're going to fasten off. And again, it's better to leave a little bit longer length so you can maneuver that with your yarn needle on the back side to weave in your ends. I chain 2, 1, 2, pull my hook up, pull that yarn out, grab the end of the yarn, pinch with my fingers, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So what you're going to do then is you're just going to take your crochet hook, bring it back down through the inside of your bag, come out through that stitch, grab that and pull it to the back side of your work. And then you'll come back with your yarn needle and you'll weave in those ends on the back side of your work. You'll just pull that down, make sure you secure it with a knot, and then weave it in through those stitches on the back side. So your hanging loop is made. So now the only thing left to do is make our drawstring. So again, you're going to take your yarn, you're going to attach it to your hook, and again, I just use a double knot when I secure my yarn. It's the way my gram taught me, and that's just the way I do it. And now we're going to chain 60. Yarn over, pull through, that's 1. Yarn over, pull through, that's 2, 3, 4. Continue until you have a chain with 60 chains. I'll be back and I'll show you how to finish your drawstring. I'm back. I have my chain 60 made. So now all I'm going to do is fasten off. For this, you can just pull your hook up, pull that yarn out, and just tighten it, and it will make a secure knot with that chain. So now you're going to grab your bag, and we're going to go down 3 rounds. So here's your hanging loop in the back. Look at your bag. You're going to see those first 4 V stitches that form your bag, and then you have your sides of your bag. So what you want to do is find the center 2 shells 3 rounds below, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to start and we're going to insert our hook from the back side of our bag, and you're going to grab the end of your chain, doesn't matter which end, and I like to leave that little bit longer yarn because that helps me pull it through, and you're just going to pull your drawstring through that chain 2 loop of that shell below. Again, you're going down 3 rounds, 1, 2, 3. You're going to find those center 2 shells, and we're starting in the left shell. And what you're going to do is you're going to pull this through, because the left side you want to be hanging down through the front of your bag. You're going to find your next shell 3 rounds below, 1, 2, 3. You're just going to insert your hook into that next chain 2 space, grab your drawstring, and then just pull it out through that chain 2 space, and you're just going to be weaving in and out. Just count down 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're always in the same round. I'm going to just pull it back through now, and we're just pulling it in and out from front to back and then back to front in each shell stitch around. So go ahead and continue, and when you get to the end, you should be bringing your drawstring out through this shell stitch here, so you have both of them to the front of your work. So I'm going to continue weaving my drawstring in and out, and I'll meet you at the front of the bag. I went ahead and weaved my drawstring in. Now you can see this is very uneven, so all you have to do is just adjust it by pulling it and adjusting it until you get it even. So there are my drawstrings, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip about 1/4 of an inch down, or 1/8 of an inch. Just clip right off at the bottom of those drawstrings. So you're just going to have that little piece of yarn hanging there. So now all we have to do is you're just going to open your soap bag, and you're going to put your soap in. Now if this is for you, unwrap your soap. If it's for a craft show, I would leave the wrapper on the soap. That way it keeps it a lot nicer, keeps the soap smelling nice and fresh. So put that inside the bag, and then you're just going to tie it into a bow and just gather it to form a nice little gathered top. Keep your soap in there, tie a little bow, and your little soap bag is finished. So thank you everybody for stopping by and crocheting with me today. Now watch for the other video. I'll go ahead and make the video for the stripe bag with that single double crochet changing color bag. That way if you want a variety of soap bags, you can have your choice of which one you want to make. So make sure that you have your bell button clicked so you're notified when I post that video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any of the crochet fun. Happy crocheting, everyone.